It is a sculptural and video work installation exhibition that uses an extensive variety of mixed media, including a range of metals, ceramics, textiles, plastic and found objects. That's the hashtag Live Your Heart Artist in Residence PhD candidate Farieda Nazier's upcoming exhibition titled Post, Present, Future. Now, the body of work draws purpose from Nazier's previous projects, Aftermath, Tension, Torsion and The Right of Admission. Nazier joins us now in studio to tell us more about her latest exhibition, which runs at the Apartheid Museum in Johannesburg from the 20th of April until the 20th of June 2019. Farieda, it's great to have you back on the show. Thanks for coming.
Thank you and good morning.
Talk to us about what gave birth to the past, present and future, and how that came about.
Okay, the exhibition is called Post, Present, Future, so the first time you had it right.
Yes.
So basically it's been a long-term project of mine to look into this notion of historical legacy and how that speaks to what we are experiencing today as South Africans. So we're looking at colonial histories, post-colonial histories, apartheid, and the present, really. And the idea is to understand what it is that we are experiencing now through the lens of the past. So how that impacts on what we're doing right now and who we are right now.
And what is it that you'd say you're challenging, especially when we look at what is happening right now in our country?
So I think that there is a rhetoric to forget. To forget our histories, to forget the past. It's a very difficult and troubling history. So we are inclined to do so. But I feel that, like with many other people who has come before me, that we are actually our histories. We are so intimately linked to what has happened to us and how we respond to that in the present, that we can't separate ourselves from it. So we really do need to look into it to understand who we are today and what our identities are. So in response to the Apartheid Museum, which is a museum that highlights certain aspects of our apartheid history, I would like to inject the present as to how specific historical events impact us right now. And I do that from a very personal perspective, in the hope that there will be resonance with the public that I share it with. Yeah.
You've also collaborated with some other artists.
Yes.
Can you tell us about just some of the work that was produced with them?
So a colleague and long-standing friend of mine, Sarah Van Borak, and she's a Canadian documentary filmmaker who resides in Cape Town at the moment. The artwork that we produced together is called Amanzi Awetu, and it's in response to the water shortages in Cape Town and how that is linked to the Land Act of 1913. So the argument is that if we do not own land, how do we have access to water, to tapped clean water? And in the same breath, how do we have access to sanitation? So it's a very close link to the acquisition of land and the current debates around land. The second collaboration is with Mogao Kekana, who is a young up-and-coming animation artist who is also from the University of Johannesburg. He graduated a couple of years ago. And it's an artwork called Monkey and Silk. I don't know if you know that Rodriguez song, Monkey and Silk is a monkey no less. And it's basically an animation of me morphing into a monkey and then morphing back into a human being. And it speaks to the way in which blackness is still associated to kind of dehumanized aspects or animalistic aspects and being inferior. So it's how we've internalized inferiority and how others of other races has internalized inferiority. So it asks questions about that and how it manifests today.
Very quickly, tell us about the workshops and what will be discussed, or what are some of the topics and themes that will be touched on there?
So the workshop's based on a model that I've been working on for the past couple of years, and it looks at critical pedagogies. I recently, in fact last year, ran a 6-month-long version of this workshop, which is about consciousness raising. And it looks at the tools to ask questions. So it's about criticality. So how do we ask questions about ourselves, and how do we ask questions about the past? The previous group was the Women's Consciousness Raising Group, which was hosted by UJ. And we dealt with issues of gender-based violence and asked specific questions about how does this come about, why do we allow this, and how can we transform it, how do we change it. Yeah.
All right, Farieda, that's what we'll leave it for today. Thank you so much for coming once again, and all the best with your exhibition.
And thank you for having me.
You're welcome. That's hashtag Live Your Heart Artist in Residence PhD candidate Farieda Nazier speaking to us about her upcoming exhibition titled Post, Present, Future, which runs at the Apartheid Museum in Johannesburg from the 20th of April, and it's right up until the 20th of June. So make sure that you don't miss out. Go out there and see. She's got tons of stuff on offer, and of course you can engage in some of the workshops that she'll be running. Time for a quick break. Do stay with us.